Time's up. Admiral.
Here it comes.
By the power of Grayskull!
I am dumping unlimited power into you.
It was one of the first James Bond movies I watched, so I have a bit of a connection to it. And
That's Dermy's excuse.
I don't fuck.
It was their first date, Adam. Shut up.
I will stop bringing it up. I don't give a fuck what that wannabe VTuber cunt wants to say. Okay, let me have my moment.
Imagine for a moment, if you will, being Adam's neighbor. You're sitting in your favorite easy chair. Maybe you got a cup of tea, and you're reading your favorite book, and out of nowhere, through the wall, you hear this: "Culturally appropriate my dick."
Dude, that's like a test of strength. That's not gay. That's like I'm gonna grip you. I'm gonna grip you harder than you grip me. We named zombies after you in that game.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, they're these big fat bloaters that sun themselves and they just lay there.
Oh, those are the things that come out of my rainbow's ass.
Brothers and sisters.
Oh no!
I want you to gather around. I want you to gather around and understand that we are in a time of troubles. Know that a darkness has descended upon us, or one may call it a shadow has descended. A shadow that also hides fairy tale communism. And what you must know in order to battle this, that you must join together and understand that when the black man runs through Japan, it may be gay, but it's okay because it's non-binary. And when the hairy-backed, unibrowed, fairest of them all, when she says we can all share in our daily tributes, you must understand that it's okay because she's a half-breed and she hates herself. You must understand that when she says she's the fairest of all, it's because deep down inside, she suppresses her whiteness. And that's okay. And that when you are creeping across the tops of the roofs across Japan, and you peek in the window and see that man being sodomized,
Wow.
you must understand that it's okay because it's in a video game. And if you are a chud, you must cry hard. And remember, when we get through these dark times, through these shadows, and we leave the communist propaganda behind, when you are out with your family, walking through town, stay away from the pizza joints because you never know when the throat goat may be there. Look around, you can understand that throat goats are among us, and they will tempt you with the pizza. But do not listen to them, for they will not deliver on the promises that they make. That is why they are throat goats.
Come.
And then when I'm holding hands with Dermy, it's going to be worse. I did that. I've done that. I have the video here.
Just think of that. You're going to be holding
Yes.
his hand and think about what that hand's been holding. Technically,
Yes.
you touched Dermy's penis.
I want to blow him up. Let me blow him up.
Oh yeah. Take it.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
Sometimes I wonder if I should have more shame, and then I realize no, because I'm on YouTube, and if I had shame, I wouldn't be here. Hello, everybody.
You can't really last on YouTube without having a little bit of shamelessness.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the job, and like I said this morning on Daily Dive, if when you do this, the longer you do it, the more shit you say, and the more they have to make clips about you. I said some truly retarded stuff this afternoon from what they made me watch the original What in the Butt music video.
I don't even.
All right,
I don't
you
even-
know, all right, that like so I first heard about it when South Park did their whole YouTube episode. We want to make money on YouTube, and they had Butters sing the song, but it was based on a real song by a gay black man who had a channel about wanting to have like gay butt sex. And they made me watch that this afternoon because I'd never seen it. So I said some things inadvertently in my melting brain reaction that are now going to be out there because both Weasel and Kratos were there. So it's been clipped. And you just have to, it goes to a point where you have to accept it. You have to accept that you're going to say stupid shit. You can't, for the longest time, I avoided saying anything revolving around penis or dick or gay or all that kind of shit. Now, whatever. I can't fight upstream. You can't. It's pointless. They're going to get you. So you might as well give them all the ammunition they need to, make the clips, make the videos, make the memes, and hope for the best. Oh man, welcome to Mellow Mondays, everybody, where by better judgment I should be sleeping right now. I really should. I need to get some more sleep. We're here to do whatever the hell it is we do around here. Hi Bug, how you doing this week so far?
It's a week, I guess. I didn't get kidnapped, so that was a good plus.
You went to Carl's Jr.'s and didn't get kidnapped.
Yeah, I know. I was like going there for a job interview, and I'm like, what is? I totally forgot I signed up for a job over there. I was like half confused. Like, wait a minute, why do they want me to go here? I'm like, I don't remember signing up for it, but I go there. They're like, oh yeah, we're working. I'm like, oh.
Every time I think of Carl's Jr.'s, I think of two things. One, that where I am, it's called Hardee's, not Carl's Jr.'s. And two, I think of Idiocracy. Carl's Jr., fuck you, I'm eating. That's what I think about whenever I think of Carl's Jr. That and those bad Paris Hilton hamburger commercials from back in the day, because she was a walking STD, and I just couldn't get turned on by her. I never got that. And good news, yeah. Look, I'm looking at the chat here. We're back to usernames. No more ats. It was still ats this afternoon. Looks like they reverted my channel back to usernames. That's good. That's a win. I'll take that as a win. I'm happy about that. Anyway, so here we go. It's another Monday. Let's have some fun. Devil's gonna be late. Sam will get here when he normally gets here because the shitternet hasn't completely collapsed. Bug, it's the last day of Pride Month. How do you feel about that?
I forgot it even was Pride Month.
Yeah, it hasn't been as oppressive as it has been for the past few years, has it?
I think it's just a lot of crazy shit just kind of covered it up, and
true.
It hasn't really been there, which I mean, yeah, it's definitely lost its luster.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happen that you don't see it around as much. Not even on Twitter, where you would think you'd see it everywhere, but it's not there.
Instead, it's just the regular retardation persisted, and this Pride Month thing, which I think I would be surprised at this point if next year people even mention it, with how little it seemed to affect the daily life of social media and internet behavior this year. I mean, almost nobody changed their profiles for Pride Month. They were big corpo. There were no giant pushes for it, and every time something popped up, it kind of got quashed by more important events, either in pop culture or the world. And it's like, you know what? We don't have time to pretend that we care about the trainees. So, I hope it goes away. It would be nice to never have to think about that again. And also, I'm going to say it, and I think even those who are of the homosexual variety, who are normal, they would love to see this month go away. It doesn't serve a purpose except to annoy people.
Yeah, no, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, hey, it's good that you could be, gay or whatever, and walk down the street and be chill. But it's
Not
like,
get a stone thrown at you.
yeah, but there's a difference between walking hand in hand with everybody and then running up to people with the pride flag and going, "Notice me!"
Or basically being a disgusting. Let's just say the queerdos who do these disgusting parades in front of little children, shit like that. There's a difference between, yes, you know what, you normal gay man over there with your husband or your boyfriend, you're living your life, you're not hurting anybody, you live your life. I don't care. As opposed to, look at me, I'm I almost said something that would have been clipped. I'm not gonna say it. Let's just say, instead of the queerdos running around displaying themselves and making everybody uncomfortable and ruining whatever, let's just say, gay rights have been achieved for the past 30 years.
Yeah, all you really need is a bunch of those clowns, like, giving everybody, like, buyer's remorse. It's like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have given you rights.
Forget rights. Let's just be evil forever. It's okay. You know what? Maybe tyrannical to behavior is better, because we all at least get to sleep at night and not worry about this shit. But yeah, so Pride Month, I think it's going to be gone before. I think Pride Month will be completely eradicated before the decade is over, because, in generally saying, you'll give all these queerdos an entire month, but you won't give veterans you'll give them only a day. That's my favorite example. Queerdos get a whole month, veterans get a day, and veterans have done way much more to keep our world safe, to keep our way of life safe. So, but I saw this before we got started. I told you I was doom scrolling the last minute, see if I could get anything else for topic starters. So Bug, I know you are a comics guy, more so even than me. Compared to you, I am but a normie. Where is it? Is this the one? Yes, this is it. No, that's not it. Yes, that is it. Back. There we go. So I know that you're at the comics, wide variety, both Marvel and DC. And you probably get this in your feed much more than I do. So-and-so is being considered for this role, right? You see that probably way more than I do.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You do?
I know what you're talking about. I saw that post too.
It's from this afternoon, but I just found it 10 minutes ago. I both want this to happen, yet I fear for society if it does. Bella Ramsey being considered for Kitty Pryde in the MCU.
Oh, that is not the post I thought it was.
Okay.
I thought it was about the Wonder Woman thing.
Oh no, I have that. I saw that too. I saw that too. We could talk about that too if you want. No. Listen, I don't know my time to shine. Hello. I'm not sure if this is a reliable source or anything.
He, compared to other ones like that Daniel RPK guy, this one is way less consistent and reliable in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So anytime I see anything from him, it's just like, no. At least with the other guy, there's enough of a consistency where it's like, okay, I could at least half believe it. This guy, I never take anything in there. I'm like, oh.
But the fact that it's even in the ether is just why? Why is Bella Downsy being considered for anything?
I think the issue is that they're trying to find a new thing to push onto us, because like Zegler's gone, like, she's not coming back forever.
Please,
after we banished her to the abyss.
We broke her. We literally broke her. She had to go on therapy and drugs to get over the Snow White backlash.
And she's gonna stick to Broadway and maybe a TV thing here or
Broadway. She's off Broadway. So.
Okay, well, whatever. She'll do like theater shit or whatever, and that's it.
Stage work is that she's retreating to the stage. That's true.
Yeah, so she'll do that. Maybe she'll do like a small TV role here or there, maybe. But like, Yeah, so they clearly need a new person to try to prop up to be the next big thing because, like, sure, we're pushing around Pedro Pascal everywhere, but that's clearly not going to last any longer. Because
Oh, in a month it's done. It's done in a month.
I would imagine that probably would hit the dominoes, but it's also just a matter of like the dude's got a clock on him age wise. Like
he's 50.
Yeah, it's gonna get to a point where even like the freaks that call him daddy have to go, okay, you're not daddy, you're now grandpa. Get away from me. So they got to get somebody, and I guess Bella Ramsey was just in close proximity. The problem is, like, already we're, like, obviously, no way in hell could she play a proper Kitty Pryde because that would require emotions and making actual faces that don't wind up as thumbnails. Yeah. Like, I mean, also, I don't see Colossus, like, trying to get into that.
No. Oh, yeah, that's like recent X-Men too, isn't it? How long did that happen? Like, that
was at least 10 or so years ago.
Really? That was 10 years ago. Wow. I thought that was more recent. But then at the same time though, we just watched as soon as she had to carry the lead for Last of Us season 2, the ratings plummeted. I mean, say what you will about Pedro, he was at least playing a character people liked.
Yeah, and at the very least, Pedro can act when he needs to. That's why I say when he needs to. Like at least with him, you can at least expect some results, like some good results here or there. May not always be 100%, but they're a lot more better than what you get with Bella Ramsey here.
Yeah,
and especially as you said, when she's left alone to carry a show, she can't do it. She does not have that.
Be a dad.
Oh god, that stupid fucking line. Now, it's like, yeah, maybe you can't blame everything on her, but it's also like, this shows this actress cannot carry a project on her own, and if you were going to get Kitty Pryde, you would have to try to surround her with far more competent actors that now have to pick up the slack for it. And God help you if you try to do any Kitty focused storylines or anything like with Colossus, because then you have to try to make people give a fuck there, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? I will blame her for the "I want to be a dad" line, because she's the one that runs around saying I'm non-binary. So they wrote it to fit her weird sexual proclivities.
Well, I mean, okay. I think of that as a half and half, because she's got.
They wanted to do it, and they wanted.
Yeah, it's like it's half on her, half on like on Druckmann and all them motherfuckers over there. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't entirely put the shit stick in her hand, but she's got a good grip on it though.
Oh yeah. So I like you said, My Time to Shine Hello, not exactly a reliable source, but the fact that it's in the ether, are you kidding me? Good Lord. And not to mention Kitty Pryde, she's supposed to be hot, and Downsy is not.
Like like Kitty Pryde is meant to be like, the cute, like, cute gal, like she's not a bombshell like Emma Frost or
Rogue
or Rogue or Storm, but she's like, that girl next door kind of an energy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, in the Ultimate Universe, she had a thing with
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that was a good little run arc there. I like that one because it had a good little crossover with Peter running with the X-Men in a couple missions. So that wasn't a bad one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So like, and Bella Ramsey beyond just looks, it's like the talent level is not there. You need someone that can really put those like like girl next door kind of vibe energy there, and she does not have that.
Yeah, even Ellen Page did a better job than what Downsy would do.
I mean,
And,
yeah.
When before Ellen Page,
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, there was this. You did mention the other one. I guess I'll bring that up because that is a discussion, I guess, to have since we're talking about it. Let me.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
I saw it and I thought, oh. My first thought is this. That's a picture that makes her look too hot. I'll say right now. Let me just I'm looking for a good one with this here. A good side by side. I saw a good one earlier. This will do. So you mentioned it. The talk of so and so, and this one has a little bit more legitimacy for a discussion because we are out of the mouths of James Gunn. It's out of the mouths of James Gunn, who has a whole quote about how I worked with Adria Arjona on something, so I've always followed her, and I wouldn't mind her being Wonder Woman. And this is sprouted from the past few weeks of the stand pushing her to be Wonder Woman. Nobody has selected her. The stand selected her, and because James Gunn lives on fucking X Twitter, watching shit. Of course, this filtered down to him, and some retarded shill would ask him this question.
Yeah, and what's very bad is there is way too much fuel for this fire because Gunn has shown throughout his history he is no stranger to working with people that he's got trust with and friends with.
Yeah,
and like the actor he got to play High Evolutionary in Guardians 3. He got him over to do Peacemaker, So, and he if you become good friends with Gunn, he will put you in anything he can put you in. Or
become his wife.
Or become his wife. That happens too.
Yeah.
So this is like there is enough stuff that's like that's gonna keep this in the conversation at the very least. Now,
go ahead. Finish thought.
And I don't know whether or not he'll go through with it or he's just fucking around like he does. I don't know. But
for me, here's this for me. One, this chick has been way overblown because of the Andor nonsense. She is a solid, to me, personally, she's a solid 7. She's not Diana gorgeous. Gal Gadot is a 9. So, I mean, you could get over the fact that she couldn't really act and she didn't completely have the body of Wonder Woman, but she was a tall, beautiful woman all in her own right. This chick, and listen, and Gal Gadot being Israeli, that's still somewhat Mediterranean. This chick isn't Mediterranean because that Diana's Mediterranean.
She's the right Mediterranean for these stands because according to any Greek, they're fucking like may as well be Hispanic and brown.
Yeah.
Which is just.
And at the same time, within this, I believe within the same discussion, because I was all around, somebody's like, hey, James Gunn, what about Nubia? We're going to get Nubia too? And he said, don't worry. We're not going to ignore Nubia for too long. Don't be surprised.
Okay, great. I love that and I don't even mind Nubia. I think she's an all right character, but it's just
it's the resurrection of a character that was forgotten by time.
It's not just that. It's like there are actual genuine decent characters, like Nubia or whatnot that haven't quite been used, but when they get in the hands of certain clowns, you start to get shit like Ironheart and Batwoman and all this shit, and all it will do is it will tank the reputation of this character and make no one like them. I mean, Jesus Christ. Carol Danvers is a primary example. People liked her. I liked her. She was great as Miss Marvel. In hell, I didn't even mind the idea of her becoming Captain Marvel because there's a story to it. You know, you could fit it in with her past history of being a former alcoholic and like how much that stress could weigh on a person, especially becoming this new mantle and whatnot. You could do that, but then they just turned her into a bitch, and so far all they've been doing in the comics is just trying to. Well, actually, all they've been doing is just shoving her in Avenger books because her own books can't sell worth the fuck anymore.
Now, how tall is Wonder Woman? She's supposed to be like 6'3", 6'4", right? I mean, she's an Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as far as I
How
recall.
tall do you think Adria is? How tall do you think she is?
She's probably like 5 feet.
She's 5'7".
Okay, let me.
Not short for a woman, but not tall enough to be Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot was tall enough to pull it off.
Woman height.
I believe Wonder Woman's like 6'3", if given proper. She could look Superman in the eyes.
6'2", yeah.
6'2", 6'3". Yeah. She's an Amazon. She's a big girl, statuesque, molded literally to be perfect.
Yeah.
And this is pure agenda-driven stand bullshit. And the fact that
it's AstroTurf shit. Like
yeah.
I just don't. There's no like genuine momentum. It's just very. It's very like forced. I don't like it, you know. And here's the thing. I think I've only seen her in like one movie, maybe. That was it. I don't even remember what the movie was. So I'm not trying to deny that she isn't like someone who knows how to act or whatnot. It's just you are not someone I am going to pick for Wonder Woman.
I mean,
I feel like you need to look for somebody else. And
yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, at this point, it's not like we could say. I'm not going to try and say that Gal Gadot was a better choice because besides being hot, Gal Gadot cannot really act. That's just
that was like undeniable.
Simple fact. Oh, here, hello, Samuel.
So,
how you feeling about Adria Arjona being possibly Wonder Woman in the DCU?
I don't know who that is.
She was the chick from Andor.
The one that almost got raped.
The one that's like, he tried to rape me.
I still have no context. I didn't watch that shit.
Okay. Well, you don't know who she is. I think it's a bad idea, but James Gunn knows her and likes her, and we are simply dancing around the point that James Gunn will play it safe with people he knows all the time. And this is not out of the realm of possibility. For his own words, he said in the interview, I of course like her. I follow her. So this is not a completely out of the world of possibilities idea. So,
okay,
yeah. Since you don't know who she is, I don't expect a super detailed response. But yeah, so this was the thing running around the who's going to play who today, and the stands love it, but they're retarded. Probably so is James Gunn. But it will remain to be seen because now he's shifted gears and he's going to try and make a Wonder Woman movie on top.
Well, I mean, DC's doing the Wonder Woman movie. What I'd imagine that he'll probably do is he'll probably just be his producing self or whatever, and he'll just grab someone like some broad to like do the movie because that's what the standard would be, you know, like you know, unless he gets Tom King to do it, which
Tom King's the one advising him on all this stuff.
Yeah, which that's
a bad look. That's a bad look. Tom King is bad.
Oh God! I just realized, with Tom King there, whatever Wonder Woman story would come out would no doubt be something inspired by his current run on Wonder Woman. Which was,
is that what he's currently doing? I didn't know he was currently doing Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's what he's doing right now. He's been doing that for like the last year and a half.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Tom King. He must know where some bodies are buried because anytime.
Well, he is former CIA.
Some CIA agent he was. He let the New York Times leak the fucking Batman wedding a week early. But somehow, some way, doesn't matter. Like, he will have the most dog shit writing imaginable. But
Mhm.
but he will get the greatest artist on the current payroll to do the art, and it's such a shame because like especially now the current art is like fucking god tier. Like this artist is great, but it's just sacked with this terrible ass writing. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's great. I love it.
Oh well, we know that he's gonna do the Supergirl. He did the Supergirl. We know that. And,
He's also, I think he's. Oh yeah, he's also doing the Mr. Miracle animated show.
Tom King is just trash. He ruined
Yeah.
Batman. He ruined Batman.
There is so
that
much
was
potential with that, and then they
Yeah.
fucked that up.
Yeah.
Like, it was so simple. Like
Mhm.
like everybody was saying, hey, don't do the thing everyone's thinking you're gonna do, and try to like fuck it up and say, oh, Batman has to be miserable. And he's like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that, and he literally does that, and it's just like, oh,
In the worst possible way, getting him cucked.
no, do not use cuck. That is
All
not.
right. Maybe I'm using the wrong word, but he got jilted.
What?
How about jilted?
No,
Jilted-
look. Common usage of the word cuck hold up, Bug. Common usage of the word cuck today in internet slang typically translates into voluntarily letting somebody else do your woman. The archaic terminology for cuckold, which is what that
Yes.
comes from, is just a dude who got cheated on.
Well, he got shamed by Catwoman, is what happened.
Yeah.
What
Let's
happened?
put it like that.
Batman and Catwoman got fucking bamboozled because they made Selena believe her friend, who was convincing her, going, "Hey, maybe Batman isn't going to be a good Batman if he's happy," and somehow she believes that bullshit and runs off, and then you screw over Batman like that, and what's all you needed to do was just go, hey, follow through with your fucking story. Like, come on. It's like you set this up for so long. You were like so many arcs and shit were going through this. Just all you had to do, Batman, Catwoman, married, to continue on life with the fun little adventures of marriage, character development, eventually,
And then have
boom.
tragedy strike. Then give us tragedy.
Give a little tragedy here and there. Boom, Catwoman gets pregnant. Boom, you have Helena Wayne. Done. Like all you needed to fucking do, but no, we can't have that. I can't have nice things, without punishment.
Bugs are romantic.
Look, I like those two, together when the writing is good, and I feel like I got screwed out of that. It's the same thing with like when people want Mary Jane and Peter Parker together. When the writing is good, it's like, oh yeah, that's the good shit. It's why the current Ultimate Universe Spider-Man is well liked, because hey, Mary Jane is his wife, the mother of his kids, and is a ride or die supportive friend. So much so that I see people actively complain about this, like how she just goes along with everything Peter is doing. Like they are currently on the run, and MJ is like, hey, look, I have no problem with this. You do what you have to do because you are a hero. We'll be fine. You go off and save the day. And people are like, oh,
A supportive wife.
Yeah, and it's just like she's got to do something, and like, what? She's taking care of the kids. Like, shut up. I'm sorry I'm sorry you're so used to.
Wait, you don't want her to be Venom in the 616?
Don't. Yeah, that was.
I hate to say it like this, but Mary Jane is nothing without Peter. Nothing at all. She's completely uninteresting except when she's paired with Peter.
Well, she was created to be paired with Peter. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be his girlfriend.
That was like
and his wife.
that was the point. She was meant to be like Gwen obviously was like, hey, that's the first love, but then they kill her ass off, and Mary Jane was meant to. Yeah. And then Mary Jane was meant to be the end all be all. Like Black Cat was meant to be like the bad influence, the bad bitch on the side. That Peter was like, okay, I had my fun, but I need to grow the fuck up and be a man, not a fucking teen. So I'm done with your trifling ass, Felicia. I'm gonna go marry.
The rebound. Felicia was the rebound.
Yeah, okay, I could go for that as well. And then he marries Mary Jane, has some kids. There we go, end of the story. But then we had Joe Quesadilla decide, well, how about this? And then fucked everything up.
One more fucking day.
Yeah, one more
broke my heart. One more day broke my heart, and then I retreated to Ultimate Verse, the original Ultimate Verse, and then Ultimate Verse broke my heart. And I was like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man's really only good for the first 100 issues. After that,
well, what happened is suddenly they changed the artist, and it started to look like shit. And I hated it.
You get that too, but like the story,
the story was bad.
Take the fucking badass. I don't mean badass. I mean bad as in ass. Turn.
Yeah.
About 100 issues in. Though for me, like, I mean, I'm kind of old school. I sort of stopped paying a lot of attention to Spider-Man comics after Maximum Clonage, which to my mind is still one of the most dog shit storylines ever written.
Clone Saga. I fucking hated the Clone Saga.
And that's not to say, look, Ben Reilly's awesome. Kane Parker is awesome. Those are great fucking characters. That storyline sucks.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading it off and on the summer it was running. I would go into Walmart and where we were, and I would go in there and I'd just stand there and read through them on the rack and then put them back. I'm like, wow, I'm not enjoying this. This is not fun.
And that's kind of where I fell off. And that was almost 30 fucking years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I couldn't drive yet.
Which is so weird because a couple of years before that, they put out what may be the single greatest Spider-Man arc ever, Maximum Carnage.
Still my favorite arc of all time.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that is my favorite personal comic book run of all time. Because as a Spider-Man fan, to me, that's peak Spider-Man. It has everything great about Spider-Man in it, from his moral struggles to being pushed to the line to some of the best villains of all time thrown in there, and references to the previous stuff that had just happened, because it happens right after Harry has been killed when they have their final battle.
Immediately after it begins at Harry's funeral.
Yeah. So I mean, it's that is just, it's so good. You have great cameos throughout the whole thing. So I've said this to you a million times, Sam. One of my favorite moments at the end of that one issue, Peter's at his lowest, and then here comes a shadow. Says, "Looks like you need a hand, son." And there's Cap.
Yeah.
That
is one of the greatest single splash panel, like full page splash panels of all time.
And then while you have like the diehard murderous squad trying to hunt down the Carnage gang, you've got Peter, Cap, and a couple others trying to just restore order to the streets of New York from what what's her name? Shit, I just forgot her name. Carnage's girlfriend, Shriek. From what Shriek is doing, because they haven't figured out that Shriek is psychically ginning up everybody with bringing out the worst of everybody.
Yeah, she's essentially the fucking pink ooze from Ghostbusters 2 in that.
Yeah,
story.
yeah, and again, the greatest moment about that is Peter is questioning, what good am I doing in all this? What good can I do? And then there's that one moment he's on a rooftop and he sees a mother completely nutsed out by Shriek's alpha waves, holding her kid by the foot, about to throw him off a building. And she's going, "Without you, I'd be fine. I'd be fine." And the kid's screaming, "No, Mom, no." And Peter talks her down. And in that moment, he realizes, whoa, okay, I did make a difference. Not Cap, nobody else. I'm the one that just saved that kid. Even just that one kid, I saved that kid just now. I made sure his mom didn't commit a horrific act while caught up in all this madness. I am making a difference, and I got to get back in the fight. Like that's good Spider-Man writing right there.
Peak fucking storytelling, and some of, I might add, like while it ran across all the Spider titles, kind of concurrently, and you got a bunch of different artists and writers in there. It was some of like Mark
so great.
Bagley's
peak every issue was outstanding art. Every issue, there wasn't a drop in quality. Yes, slight difference, but the quality just maintained all of it.
Yeah,
And
so,
I
so good,
love
so
that.
good. And then a couple years later, everybody's a fucking clone, and I kind of fell off after that. So,
See, I didn't read Maximum Carnage until years after that. It was out because I wasn't aware of it completely, and I skimmed Carnage in New York, and then I got my hands on the trade paperback of Maximum Carnage because the video game had come out and all that kind of stuff. So like, oh, there's a Spider-Man video game, but I don't know this story. What's this story? So I went and got the trade paperback, and I was blown away. I was blown away at this incredible story. And I read, oh, wow, this is the best Spider-Man story I've ever read at this point. So, and it is to this day my favorite arc in comics. I love it because I'm a Spider-Man guy. So I loved every second of it. And and ever since then, I compare everything to that. That's what I do. I compare everything in terms of my enjoyment scale to Maximum Carnage. So,
well, it's the high standard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some stuff. There was some really great stuff leading up to it. There has been some good stuff after, but it was really the pinnacle of Spider-Man storytelling, at least in my opinion.
I agree. I agree completely. Sam, how you doing though? Otherwise, you doing all right?
It's been fucking weird, man. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I think I've got the shitternet issue solved, so I should probably change my handle there. So that's good. But on the other hand, my job handed me a fucking plaque for time served last week, so I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh,
You make it sound like it was a prison sentence thing.
I mean,
it's like, good job. Why are you talking
Right?
to me? Don't talk to me. don't recognize that I don't recognize me too much. I just want to come and
the
go.
only recognition I need is money. That's it.
I like that.
Oh my god!
agree.
You know what? That's the thing. That's the thing I've kind of been dealing with, trying to get a new job. Like, had people like ask me what my hobbies were, and I'm like, why do you need to know what my fucking hobbies are? Like, you just like, I'm literally coming in here for a janitorial position. Like, I'm not here to tell you what my hobbies are. I'm here to like clean up the floor and clean out a fucking toilet. Don't ask me what my fucking hobbies are. Just tell me what my hours are, what my pay is, and what fucking monstrosity of a mess is in the bathroom so I can clean up. Like, I don't need that.
Oh boy, somebody didn't bring the portable bidet, did they?
No, they did not. It just baffles me.
I know. It's like, yeah, do you really want to know I like comic books and make action figures? Do you really want to know that? When they're asking you that, it's like
I never tell them what I do in my off time, ever, because I mean, first of all, I work for local government, so that would get me fired so fast. It's because I talk a lot of shit about the government. So.
Oh man, so well, listen, it may be annoying, but I guess it's. If that's the worst thing that happened with that, I guess that I could live with that though. It's like, oh, thanks. I'm gonna disappear back into the crowd.
I mean, essentially, I don't even know what to do with the fucking thing, man. I don't hang shit up on my walls, right? I ain't got anywhere at work to put it, So it's still in the fucking box in the plastic wrap, man.
There you go. There you go. Devil, how you doing?
Good.
You got your taste of Dark Tide this weekend for the first time.
Yeah, it's actually a fun game.
It is fun once you get the hang of it, because you got dropped into the middle of us not explaining too much and just going hog wild. So that was like, probably, I would say, as far as introduction goes, that we gave you a bad introduction because we weren't very helpful at all that night. We're caught up in being the law.
Yeah, you guys just kind of ran in there, and it was all like, okay, I'll just follow you guys. Hopefully,
just keep up. But yeah, so I'm glad you like, though. Once you get the hang of it, it is fun. I just realized I'd been a retard, and I didn't realize I could upgrade one of the items properly. It hasn't been upgraded for all the months we've been playing on everything. I didn't upgrade my reliquaries at all, and now I just did. I'm like, wow, that's better. I'm retarded.
So I've got to work on the upgrades. I still haven't been able to do really much with them, so I'm not sure.
Well, it's level capped. You have to get a certain point to access all the stores, and then each level unlocks a slot for certain things, and then of course you have to figure out what your weapon styles are, which weapons you like the best. Because as veteran, you have pretty much access to every gun there is because you're playing veteran right now. and you have to figure out what your favorite melee weapon is. So you're in that early stages of feeling it out. Whereas the rest of us, we've been playing it for a while, and we're just enjoying being the law and dispensing the Emperor's justice with those dogs. Now it's just a matter of time till the nerf comes. Now it's just a matter of time. We just hope it doesn't come too quickly, because I'd like to play it a few more times with the group before the nerf hits, and it's probably not going to. It would be destroyed, but it won't be as balls to the wall. We're going nuts, just barnstorming through these levels. But it's fun. I enjoyed it. I look forward to playing it some more. God, I got the hiccups probably this weekend. But I do have a story. But hail howdy to the chat. Everybody's starting to comment. God damn it. Somebody talk for a second while I get rid of my hiccups.
I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to stand on your head and hold your nose and drink water from a glass upside down? Because trust me, that only results in drowning.
My remedy's always been like take a spoonful of sugar, and that does it.
I just hold my breath. I hold my breath for 10 seconds. If it doesn't work, I do it for another 10 seconds, and that gets it done. Because what it does, I talk so quickly that I give myself the hiccups, and then the air exchange from the throat and the lungs happens, and I have to slow down talking and take a breath once in a while so that it doesn't happen. But yeah, so it was one thing I will say my stepdad ever taught me that was pure and works every damn time was the holding the breath to get rid of hiccups. Works every damn time. Never have a problem. Anyway, so here we go. Hail to the chat. Hope you guys are having a good time. Hit that like button, guys, and join us. We continue down the nonsense. So we are talking a little bit of co-op stuff, and this story popped up in the middle of the week, and I can relate. And we've all played our share of MMOs and co-ops. We know what it's like. And I don't know if we've all done our time. I did my time a little bit here and there, but we've all played some WoW. At least one form or another.
I've played MMOs, man. I've never touched WoW.
I was talked into it. I had just finished writing my book a few years ago, and I needed complete and total detox from doing nothing for 4 months, but write. I did literally nothing else. I played a little bit of Stellaris here and there, but I did nothing but write. And I wanted to play with people again. And some of my buddies had gone back to WoW. I'd never played it before. It was right before the expansion in 2022 or 21. It was 21. And it was the Dragon Rising expansion. So they convinced me, dude, come into WoW. It'll be fun. You've been playing all this stuff, and you'll like it. We'll have fun. We're getting a little bit of the band back together. And here I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give it a try. I've never been a fan of how it looked, and let's play it. And god-awful game. The mechanics are terrible. Blizzard doesn't make it easy for you to come in as a new player to the game. There's no... The story is so disjointed, you can jump in anywhere, which makes it retarded to follow along. But all that aside, I've done that rant before. But this week there was stuff that, Kel's ahead of me in there. There's that. But what started for me was that I first saw this right here. This is what I first saw in relation to WoW. This is, let me see, do I have the right one? Hold on. Yes. This is titled The Absolute State of WoW in 2025. Now, I will say, note not only the graphics, but the dialogue. Enjoy. Feel free to groan as we listen to this.
Stop this! Dinath fought to save all of Azeroth. So the Alliance and Horde.
Yeah. Just look at it. It's like,
wait, is this supposed to be brand new?
This is current day WoW.
This is not like something from like 2003.
No, this is WoW in 2025.
What? Oh, Jesus! That's
indeed. Oh my!
Wage war in Karzalgar. You'll never understand.
It looks like the kind of animation they used when South Park did its WoW episode.
Yeah.
Okay, like
those spectacles better let her see like Ultimate Truth or some shit.
No, they don't.
For Erisol!
She's just nearsighted.
Fight you women's fight.
The Red Dawn will rise again.
Yeah, the rise of the cat ladies.
No!
Look at this.
Do not make her a martyr. Our history will read. Faerun, true daughter of the Arathi, allowed Marin to live without her title and name. The Red Dawn vanished from the Highlands forever.
This is just horrific.
This is not over.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have to pay like a monthly subscription to WoW?
Yep.
WoW is
Where the fuck is all that money going to?
Lawsuits?
Somebody's pocket.
Lawsuits and settlements?
How many fucking titty milk things do we have to pay off, dude? God damn.
All I'm saying is that this is current day WoW. I mean, whatever problems that Final Fantasy XIV had with Dawn Trail, and I thought it was a good 7 out of 10 expansion. It wasn't as epic as what had come before, but it's the beginning of a new story, so it's going to take some time to build up. At least it looked beautiful and it played beautiful. People's complaints had to do with the story, not with the gameplay and the fresh gameplay content in terms of the levels, the fighting, the new classes. They were outstanding, and the game got and that was when it also got essentially a graphical update, which is why I needed to upgrade my own stuff to be able to play it. So 14 looked great. For all its problems, Star Wars: The Old Republic has gotten an upgrade recently. Its problems are just because they're not making content fast enough, but it still looks and plays well. This is an abomination. In this one,
this looks like Warcraft 3.
Mm-hmm. And
which
Warcraft 3
at the time was really, top of the line and stuff, but they didn't really improve on their graphics engine when they shifted over to WoW.
They never did. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I was never interested in WoW, because I thought it looked too whimsical. It didn't grab me as something I could take seriously. And now here we are. I mean, there's another meme going out there of WoW in 1995, and it's a picture of an orc and a dude fighting, and then WoW in 2025, and it's a picture of this goofy-looking orc with a fantasy camera walking around the human capital taking pictures.
I saw a picture, and I don't know if it was real. I think it was from WoW, of one of them in a glowing pink wheelchair.
Do you mean this picture right here? Because you mean this glowing pink wheelchair that doesn't need to exist in a world where magic heals everything?
I didn't even think this was WoW. I thought this was like some D&D shit.
No,
like
this is WoW.
Oh,
this
wow.
is WoW. And I saw somebody bring up the point. Not only is it a spectral chair, but it's floating. it's
right?
floating.
So
why not just get a magic carpet or something?
Why do you even like, dude? In my eyes, unless you're doing the Wild Wild West, it's like spider leg wheelchair, don't even bother, because at least it looks cool and interesting. This is just like, oh god.
I mean, you know what they don't have in the Wild Wild West, Bug? Healing spells.
Yeah, but
well,
at least
here's what.
At least count yourself as a mecha, half mecha. If you're in the spider things, like, look, I'm half mech. Here we go.
Yeah, well, at the very least, it's an interesting aesthetic and design instead of this let's just make everything wheelchair accessible, or Green Lantern constructs over here for wheelchairs, which is all it says is that's what it represents. You have Blizzard sitting there, and the wheelchair is all the dumbass disabled people being used as a prop. There's no actual use getting out of that thing. It's just to hold them up so they can be holier than thou.
And to answer Errol's question,
yeah.
No, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, all I'm saying is that the Lich King better have them fucking ramps up the code.
Oh, he ain't there no more. And no, Ariel, this game is the people who play this game are window licking tards at this point. They are the dregs of the MMO society, because they have this weird allegiance to this game that has done nothing to service them in well over a decade. It's just the same slop over and over again. And having played it, I can say it's slop. The game controls are pathetic. The classes are retarded. They're dumb. They don't make any sense. There's no refinement to them. Let me be clear. There's no refinement to these classes. It's just one cloned version of a class after another. And the stories are so disjointed that if you don't play them in order, and they don't let you play them in order. I said they drop you right in wherever you want to start. You're lost. So what's the point of any of this anymore if you're playing WoW, except if you are on board with, as Kel just put it, a shape-shifting wizard who's sitting in a glowing pink wheelchair in a world where magic potions and mages can heal your broken ass. And this is the sad state of it. The complete sad state of it. I mean, I have no respect for Blizzard for any reason whatsoever. And I see this, if I'm thinking about playing WoW, I'm going to put my money into something else. It's that simple. He's the guardian of Azeroth. See, I don't know the lore because Blizzard didn't make the game lore accessible when I played. See, I was in the mindset when I played a Final Fantasy XIV where you drop it in and you have to play the entire story to get from one end to another. Therefore, the world and the lore is going to be taught to you through playing the game. No, we're Blizzard. We're just going to drop you in. We're going to give you all these level enhancement, advancement items. We're going to put you from 1 to 95 in a second and then just throw you in. And you can go wherever you want. Don't worry. You don't need to know what's going on. Just run around. Yay.
Well, it's all got to be immediately accessible, or the Zoomers and the fucking journals are going to cry about it. That's why.
Yeah.
And it which is just so fucking stupid. Like, start at the beginning and work your way up like everybody else did.
Exactly. Exactly. I want to get invested in this world, whatever world I'm getting into. And if it's been going on for a long time, if you start me at the beginning, you're going to earn my loyalty because I'm going to get into it. But Blizzard doesn't want loyalty; they just want your money.
I think they want money, and they're still trying to make up for all those interns and secretaries they diddled at the Christmas party.
Yeah. So I have this is to me not a ringing endorsement of, hey, come play WoW. It's great. You too can be in a glowing wheelchair. And that's just thing too. One of the things about WoW also to me that has always flabbergasted my mind and makes it inaccessible is that your character that you create and go on all these adventures with around there, they're not a part of the story. It's about these people that you see here in this picture or the people we saw in that horrible cutscene we just watched. It's about them. You are not involved in this story whatsoever. Every time there's a cutscene and the lore moves along, you are not part of it. You're their go-to grunt to go kill something, and you get no respect. You get no acknowledgement of your victories, as opposed to every other single MMO that I've played in the past 15 to 20 years. You're the hero. Your character is a part of the hero band, and it's centered around you. You get acknowledged of what you do. And I hated that about WoW. I was like, wow, wait, what am I doing here? They came around about like the wizard chick here. It's more her story or the dark elf chick that everybody was like the bane of this and that chick with the bow. It's all about her, all about them. It's not about you, your character. That means it's not about the customer. So that also that put me off as soon as I realized that after I'd watched enough just disjointed story cutscenes as my buddies dragged me around from one point of the world to another. Sylvanas. It's about them. It's not about you. And I don't like that. I think that's pathetic.
The problem that WoW had is, one, they've kind of really been doing every single thing their customers' fan base doesn't want them to do for a long time. But I mean, the only thing that really I could say that went back to it and made them happy was when they did they brought back the original kind of set What was that
well,
called?
that was well, what was that called? Kel, what was that called?
When they original, it wasn't original. What was it called?
Well, no, they brought back. They restarted it. Wow.
Yeah, essentially.
They restarted the beginning, and they went. They're
and
going
took off all the other shit.
Yeah, and it had a term. Kel might know.
Yeah,
I
God, everyone was saying it for so long, and now it's totally out of my head.
Classic. There you go. Yeah,
classic. There you go. Classic. Yeah. They call it classic. Yeah. So classic was something that everyone wanted, and that was about the only thing I could say that they've done in a long time that made their like customer base happy. But the problem they're having is when WoW first came out, it was kind of like its own thing. There wasn't near as many, you
could count on one hand.
Yeah, MMOs. Yeah. Now you have tons of MMOs. You have tons of games that you can play with your friends online. The online game world is bigger than the play by yourself crap that we're getting. It's just, you're not going to get people to sit there and dole out money for a month pass unless the game really is good, and it just ain't keeping up. It hasn't for a long time.
No, it hasn't. And one thing that WoW did have to claim was raiding. They had the traditional raid, but nobody wants to do that anymore, at least not in the WoW setting, because there's a lot of elitism in the WoW raiding community. And it's about, oh, you have to be special to join us. And it's hard to build up a new crew and get into it. And then again, unless you're playing WoW Classic, going all the way back to the base game, Lich King, and I forget what the last one they have it up to right now is. You can't rebuild a guild. It's the same problem you have like if you go back to Star Wars: The Republic. There's nobody out there you can actively recruit anymore. Everybody's where they're going to be unless you bring in your own crew of people and you're going to build something fresh with your buddies. There's no recruitment anymore because when I played Star Wars: The Republic, I was recruited, or I put out applications and then I was recruited. I had a couple different choices and I chose a particular one that led to some of the best gaming I ever had in an online experience. But you don't have that anymore. There's no recruitment drives. There's no massive guilds because nobody wants anybody new anymore. And if they do, you have to. It's an uncomfortable situation. So, WoW, like Devil said, back in the day, WoW was king of the hill because let's also understand this. WoW was the first MMO that was normie accessible, normie gamer accessible, very user friendly, very easy to get into. You had to grind, but they made it a way so that it wasn't oppressive. And it had that 20 million subscriber base, which ruled the kingdom for 2 decades. Well, it's still king of the hill, but it's a rotten hill that is covered in dead bodies and feces. And they bleed more. I mean, here's the WoW cycle is this. Everybody plays for a while, they leave in droves. New expansion, come back. Everybody comes back for a month and then leaves again. Now that's the same could be said for every single MMO, but for WoW, it really is peaks and valleys. And they remain king of the hill because they always had the biggest subscriber base overall. So the people are still subscribed, but they just don't play and they don't enjoy it. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV was never going to topple it, but it is the other one out there with its and it's also suffered losses in the recent years too. But it also had between 15 and 20 million subscribers. But WoW is king of the hill, but it's not a as the way I look at it, it's not a prize to be sought after anymore. And I just said that, Kel. That's how all MMOs are. MMOs are. You go, you come back, you go, come back. Very few people are there all the time. And those that are there all the time, they're the ones, they're the backbone and keeps it going. But then again, some of them, and most of them who still play WoW, they don't realize that it stinks because they're nose blind to how rotten it is. And they don't want to get, and that's another part, you don't want to give up all the time you put into it too. There's also that thing. But it's pathetic. Once upon a time, it was worth it. In my opinion now, WoW is not worth anybody's time, and I don't understand why people still play it as an MMO. I mean, you could ask that about many MMOs, but I really think that is a question to be asked, especially when clearly this is what they effing care about. They care about this more than a good experience. Hell, it literally took them 20 years to deliver on guild housing. So, yeah. EverQuest was the original king. It's the OG. And people, listen, I'm so surprised Final Fantasy 11 is going. Okay? That surprises me every day.
I think Phantasy Star Online actually predates EverQuest, but only by a little bit.
Well, the original king was Ultima Online. That's the original king. We don't count MUDs. Ultima. I mean, I watched a video on. There was a time where I was watching a bunch of there's a particular channel that did the life and death stuff of all these things, and I watched one point years and years ago the life and death of certain MMOs. And I mean, Ultima Online was the first one. EverQuest. And it's always going to be like Kel said when I said it too, it's always going to be peaks and valleys, but at least sometimes when you come back, it's rewarding. Whenever I go back to Final Fantasy 14 for a new expansion, whenever I get around to it, I'm always rewarded. It's still for me a great experience. Do I run out of steam? Yes, because only a few of us here play it, and when we're done, and we move on to other things for a while. We don't have a full real active guild to keep doing stuff. That, and also I have my issues with what Square calls endgame with FF14. That aside, but other games, they also fall by the wayside. I mean, there's a game that recently came out that I thought was never going to come out. I didn't realize it came out at the end of last year. Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. I was tracking that game for it was out for longer with tracking, but I tracked that game with people for like 5 or 6 years. And then the creator Minecrafted himself, so I thought it was never going to come out, but it did, and it came out, and I didn't even realize it. And there was a time I would have been knocking people down to get into that game for what they had promised, an evolving world, stuff like that. And that's the point. Now it is a far cry from what they originally were going to put out, and now it looks like dog shit. It still looks like it did 5 years ago in the beta when I was watching beta videos. Alpha videos, not beta, alpha videos. And it looks like dog shit because it's not the game that was promised. So the MMO world, I've said this before, the MMO world is stagnant. It's stagnant right now. It's been stagnant. And that's because nobody's innovated anything new. And it's partially stagnant. You guys can disagree with me on this, is because of the whole free-to-play craze that happened for a while. It made people made the developers be lackluster and slack on putting out solid real content because they cared more about pushing it along through cash shops and this and that. And I don't mind paying for an MMO. I don't. As long as I get my money's worth, I don't mind. And I think if we need a leap in innovation and making the MMO great again, and also to understand, you know what? Pay for it. Subscription. Nothing obscene, but have be subscription based again. And that's the thing. I haven't seen, Keller's right. I haven't seen an MMO that's gotten me excited in years. That's why I will go back to Final Fantasy, play a new expansion, enjoy it, move the story along, play for a while, and then leave again. I will. It's grown longer and longer, but I'll go back to Star Wars: The Old Republic for mostly nostalgia. I'll play it for a while. Nobody to play with. I'll leave again. Because that's how it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I played, as you know, I played DC Universe Online for 11 straight years, right? Through thick and thin, through multiple developer changes, multiple company changes. It started out subscription based. And then eventually they brought the F2P stuff in, and shortly after that, it became pay to win with the loot boxes. And I think that's really where it kind of fell off. The last really great DLC they put out, and this was like a while back, it was back in like 2013, was the Battle for Earth, which was kind of like the end of the Brainiac arc, which was sort of like where you begin with, right? And it was the last like really big DLC, bunch of raids, bunch of other instances. There was a whole new world to explore, all kinds of cool shit, good story. and it finishes up the story that begins in the opening cinematic. And after that, they started focusing on. There were a handful of other like really big DLC add-ons, right? But they kept promising shit like, oh, we're going to get new power sets, which they did eventually deliver on a handful of them, but nowhere near what we were supposed to get. And some of them were not at all what we were promised. Like there were specific power sets that we're going to deal with that almost never happened. And you just got to a point where they'd have to release a whole big thing to release with the power set, because it did require changing some stuff up a little bit in the code. But then they just decide, oh, we're just going to do mini updates, right? Like, oh, here's a 4-man instance. Oh, here's a couple of solo instances plus a 2-man instance. Here's a raid, and they do it piecemeal after that, and it broke the fucking story up. It made it nearly impossible to play, because almost the only way to get in there unless you're in a dedicated guild, and most of those were hard as shit to get into. And even if you could get into them, most of the people in them were fucking cocksuckers.
Yep.
Then you had to run down pugs, which usually like either every fucking run is a wash, or the person who initiated the instance just starts kicking people because they're not good enough, because they haven't had a chance to learn how to do the thing, and nobody's willing to help them with the mechanics of the instance or whatever. And it just kind of devolved from there. And then everybody's like splurging on loot boxes so they can have the very best fucking shit, except, like it costs you hundreds of fucking real world dollars to get this stuff. In a reasonable amount of time anyway. So they can do speed runs on the final shit. So by the time you work yourself up to be able to do like the last raid in a specific update, right, everybody else who's there already is way too OP for it. And if you can't fucking keep up because it's your first time, they'll kick you.
Yeah.
And all of that was because as a result of the fucking developers getting lazy.
And you just kind of made a perfect example of what I said. Going free to play to try and squeeze people for cash, because people don't want to do subscription, but they know that if you give them the option to speed level themselves to, now I won't say power level, because power leveling means actually putting in the time, but speed level means I'm just paying to win. You give them that option, yeah, they'll drop that money real quick. They'll do it, blink of an eye, because then, oh, that's fine, I have no problem doing that, and it cheapens the game. It totally cheapens the game.
Like I don't have a problem with loot boxes if you want to go and spend your money on fucking cosmetic.
Cosmetic. That's Star Wars. Or whatever. Star Wars is all cosmetic. That's what.
That's fine in the loot boxes, right? But when you're putting like actual fucking end game gear in these things, right, and people are having to show like that's fucked, man.
Yep. That.
And it fucked the end game economy completely.
Yeah,
with the auction house and all that shit. Yeah, because you go in there, somebody would go and they'd spend, like $50 on a bunch of keys and open a fuckload of loot boxes, and they get some of the top end gear and immediately start selling it for something completely unreasonable, like $100 fucking million, right?
Oh, trust me, I've been dealing with player economies my entire MMO life. I know that there's always those few who, when things are good and everything's balanced, there's always a group that's going to come in and inject chaos, because they know that that the gold buyers, or whatever you want to call them, that they'll buy the gold and buy their shit in the game. They know they will. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I mean, Kel was right. And you made my point, and Kel backs it up there. Randos suck to get anything done. It's one thing to line up for a 4-man instance, a flashpoint, a dungeon, whatever you're going to do, where it's level capped and it's all that kind of stuff. That's how Final Fantasy 14 works. That's how Star Wars works. That runs fine. But
there's dog shit in raids, though.
You cannot do true raids. And when we say raid, we're talking about dungeon crawling. Run the level, boss, all the way to the end. You cannot. Doing a pug raid is terrible, because people don't know the raids. People are impatient, and there's no real teamwork. Real raiding requires teamwork. And having been a raid leader, having been the guy who has taught raids to people step by step to build them up from nothing to, at the very least, a B rank, a B level raid team, it takes time and patience. And I have turned some of the most basic bitches into A rank raid teams, not S rank. The S rank is when all the raid leaders came together and we put our team together and we went and did shit. That's when we kicked ass. That's true ass kicking. But I coach people up for years. I coached them up. I said, okay, here's the raid schedule. Tell us when you can do this. We're going to build your team and we're going to start every week. Show up. You're going to learn this shit. And we're going to learn your job, and you're going to work with your team. You're going to learn how to communicate. We taught all those teamwork mechanics, and guess what? If you take the time in your guild and do it, you can make teams, and they work together. They're comfortable together. Tanks have a shorthand. Healers have an understanding of who they have to pay attention to. Old story. The healers, they all have a note. Whenever in my old school gaming guilds, they have a note. I'll just say my name, Adam, not my character name. Adam, he needs to be looked at. He's going to get himself into trouble while he's DPSing. He's going to go into tunnel vision. You need to watch after him. Make sure you have a dot on him. Make sure you keep an eye on him. Yoink him back if you think he's too far out and you need to reset everything. Because even though I'm a raid leader, I teach the raids, I do overall commands, but somebody else keeps track of shit because I'm in my DPS tunnel vision sometimes, which is why I was the best DPS in our team. So I had somebody looking out for me, but the healers learn that. They know my traits. They know the tank's traits. They know whether or not they can really work with their healer partner, because usually it's like an 8-man raid, 2 healers. They know everyone does. All this stuff builds through teamwork, and you can't build that in a pug. And if, as Sam put it, you try to get into one of these elitist MF or guilds who don't want to train, they just want to pad their numbers. You can't build any of that. And that era's gone.
And look, man, I don't have a problem if I'm in with a bunch of pugs and they're some of them know the raid mechanics and some of them don't. I don't have a problem with taking our time and learning it together and learning each other's capabilities together over and over again until we get it right. I don't have an issue with that. Problem is, there's always some elitist asshole who's like, "Why aren't we speed running this shit? Kick all kick all these noobs," and there's always some asshole who doesn't know how to play the game at all and just wants everybody to fucking carry him through. And then you got the people who actually want to learn this shit who are not given the chance to learn it because of the other two types of people, which is incredibly frustrating, because I don't have a problem playing the game with people who want to play it, right? Who want to actually play it. I don't like speed running anyway. I think you miss too much shit, but whatever. And this was like a really, really fucking consistent problem for a long time. You see, in DCUO, there are actually 4 classes, right? You've got your DPS, you've got your tank, you've got your healer, and you have what's called a controller who does both crowd control and supplies the other 3 classes with what is the equivalent of MP, right? Refills their MP. And so if the tank is not doing his job and pulling the fucking boss, right, then the boss will immediately fucking kill the healer or the controller. And if the controller dies, the healer has no fucking energy to keep the fucking DPS alive or the tank alive. Like, it's all symbiotic. It all relies on each other. Everybody's got to know their fucking role. And I was running, I think towards the end, I was running a nuclear power set, which is a tank or DPS. All classes can DPS. You get 2 modes for each one, but I was running a tank, but I was doing fucking DPS output that was outpacing all of the actual DPSs in fucking pug runs. And I'm like, how the fuck is that happening?
That is a sign of weakness. If your tank or your healer are doing more DPS than your DPS, then that's just terrible. I mean, it's like you said, there's an art form to all of this. And a tank that knows how to do proper hate management, proper enmity management, they are the best thing in the world, because here's a test, and I would do this test. Okay, new tank, I'm going to go all out right away. I'm not going to throttle myself at all, because a good DPS throttles in the beginning. You let that tank build their hate. A good healer doesn't drop major heals because you let the tank build the hate. And then a good healer knows to manage when they drop those emergency big heals, because that's going to be no matter what, that's going to be the biggest hate draw on a boss. And a good tank has the proper basically hate grab ready to go when the hero does that, so they can keep themselves at the top of the hate table. But whenever it's new tanks and stuff like that, I'm going to give the tank a test. I'm going to go full all out maximum rotation right away. I'm not going to build up. I go full throttle. And if the tank can hold it when I just go crazy, then I know I can trust them to handle it in a raid. And I've done that before. It's like, yeah,
that all started sounding a little.
Yeah,
I know I could trust them to handle it.
yeah, handle it all, baby.
handle that hate. Handle that hate.
Yeah,
The
I
hate
ran
important.
I used to run run 4-mans with my brother. We'd just have like a couple of pugs drop in with the 4-mans because it doesn't really matter all that much. But this one time we had this earth tank drop in tank mode and completely fucking act like a goddamn DPS, and he kept getting fucking killed over and over and over again. I'm like, dude, like just go away in the corner or something and let us deal with this because you clear.
I know.
That's actually why I started tanking, is because of that guy, that specific instance.
I was originally a tank when I first played EverQuest in 2003. And I had no idea what was going on. It was like my first real MMO experience. The small guild I joined, unfortunately, they were an RP guild, and I didn't know that there was what the difference between RP and regular guilds was. I've told that story in the past. But they took me aside and said, okay, we're going to teach you how to tank. And they took me out into the wilds, and we found this spider spawn area for just some grinding. And I was taught how to tank. Here's how you grab hate. Here's how you lure in the mob. Here's how you switch from the other tank. Here's how you do it. And I learned it. And I spent like a week in tank boot camp. And then it's like, okay, now you're going to tank this stuff for real on your own. We're going to go out there and do stuff. And I learned, and I got better, and I got better. So much so that one guy said, man, I've been doing this for a long time, and you're a noob, and you're one of the best tanks I've ever seen. I was like, thank you. Right. And then it got to a point, though, where I didn't want to stand there being meat shield anymore. I wanted to kill shit. So I was like, I'm going DPS.
Well, that's kind of I was killing shit as a tank. It was you know how that goes sometimes. But and I started trying out like other classes too. Like I went and built a healer just because I wanted to see what that was like. But you know what I did when I first started out doing that, and I ran a bunch of fucking pug instances with that just to kind of get used to the mechanics of it, because it was a weird power set, Celestial. It's all about like strange combos and timing and all that stuff. But after a run, I would ask the guys in the pug, if they didn't just dip out immediately, hey, I'm new at this healing thing. I'm trying to learn it. How did I do? Right?
That's good.
And, yeah. And a lot of times I'd get fucking positive feedback.
And I have nothing but respect for true dedicated healers. You have to have a special mindset and a special talent to be a real healer. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot manage watching all that shit. I mean, I can, but my mindset isn't for that. I'm too worried about what's going on with the boss and the attack patterns and all that kind of stuff. I can't heal. I've tried healing. I cannot do it. I'm either a DPS or a tank. I can do those jobs.
Healing's a fucking rough job, man.
Yeah. Because half the time the healer, they're not even paying attention to the boss. 95% of the time, they're watching the party statistics. They're keeping track of all this stuff. They're watching the cooldowns. They're keeping track of the tank's cooldowns. Does the tank have this cooldown to save my ass when I do this? They're doing all kinds of shit going on. I have nothing but respect for the true healers out there. And that's why when you find a good healer and they're in your guild, you treat them like the king or queen that they are. And you make sure that they are respected and appreciated, so that they stay, because you need.
Well, and that was the thing. It's like that was as a tank, that was my job. As like the healer's life was in my fucking hands.
And it gets to a point where if you're a tank and you have your favorite healer, that's the team. It's like, okay, this is my good healer. I know I'm going to be okay. I don't have to worry about things. They're going to keep me alive in the sketchy situations. And listen, I've had bad healers in the past. These crybaby healers. Healers who panic when shit's going on and don't trust the rest of us to keep shit under control. Because listen, as good as you are, something's always going to go wrong. Something is always going to happen where the boss, even though everything's going right, the boss will do something erratic and may do like a hate jumble and suddenly jump on a healer or a DPS, and suddenly, boom, you've lost, somebody's down and you got to recover and this and that. And that's when a good tank, and then also a good
or they catch you on a cooldown or something like that.
Yeah. If you maybe you mistimed your cooldowns, maybe you dropped something you shouldn't have. Maybe a DPS got a little too much. Maybe a DPS was off dealing with ads and they got a little too far out, and the healer wasn't paying attention. Then the DPS goes down, and boom, here's a problem. Or the off tank mishandled the ads.
That's what trolls are for, because the trolls not only keep you filled up on your MP essentially. They didn't call it that. I forget what the actual
we
word
call them mana
was.
factories in other games. Essentially.
Yeah, but yeah, that was their main job. But their other job was to keep the fucking ads off the DPS.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, to CC all the ads. You know,
And-
like the
and-
boss was the tank's job, but the ads, the controller needed to CC them.
Well, and it depends. Sometimes if you have two tanks, then if the off tank isn't needed for a switch on the boss, their job is then to pick up the groups. And sometimes you have some DPS in some situations like myself who can go essentially solo some ads and take them out fast enough that I haven't. I mean, one of my specialties when I played my my warden in Star Wars: The Old Republic, my Jedi warden, I was strong enough in certain raid situations on certain particular raids where the warden, Sentinel, mixing up my Jedi Sentinel, at the original builds of the game, I had enough interrupts and dodge mechanics built into my Sentinel build that I could survive for about 20 to 30 seconds fighting just about anything in certain situations. And that would allow the tanks and the other DPS to do stuff. And it would also give us a little extra time in certain high-pressured DPS race situations where I could kill shit on my own and then get back and be okay. And what do you mean, please wrap it up? Fuck you. Fuck you. We are down a gaming rabbit hole, motherfucker.
Let me go grab a rubber bug. I'll wrap it up for you real good.
I'm kind of a
I had to do that. I've been holding that one in for like 5 streams, man.
I'm a casual at MMOs and shit, and a lot of this conversation between you and Sam sounded like you were talking about fucking like orgy or some shit. It was I'm sitting there like, oh,
dude.
Okay.
Like, I'll be honest.
Everybody's got a job to do, man. You better know what that is.
They took me out to the backwoods and were teaching me how to tank, and I'm all like, I know, I know what tank is, but it just.
I'll be honest.
Sounded dirty.
I've never been an MMO guy. I kind of have the same issue with MMOs as I do with mobile trailers, where I see like a trailer to the game, and it's like, oh, this sounds really cool, and then I see the actual gameplay, I'm like, fuck. Same thing with DC Universe Online. Great fucking trailer. That's like probably the best shit ever made, but then the gameplay, I'm like, oh, fuck you.
To be fair, DCUO stole a lot of shit from WoW in terms of like the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, well, maybe they could have got something better, but I don't know. That's just my thing. It's just I have a hatred, dislike of mobile games and MMOs because
you either like an MMO or you don't. You either like them or you don't. And
yeah,
you can't make somebody play an MMO. It's that simple.
I just have a problem with that kind of thing when certain trailers, the games, they show off something that's like, oh, that would be fun to play, but then if the gameplay's nothing like it. I think the most recent example I've got is that new Invincible game where I'm like, oh, okay,
this fighting game. It's a fighting
game.
It's
it's some. I wanted it to be like, you know, the sandbox type fighting, not fucking wannabe Street Fighter. You know, because the trailer literally starts off with Omni-Man smashing Mark's face into a building and like doing all this cool shit. That's like, oh, that looks fun. I want to see that happen. But it's no, you're stuck on a map to do like cheap ass Mortal Kombat X-ray moves. It's like, fuck you guys. Like, go all in or don't go at all, man.
That's the problem is that, I mean, like I said, either like an MMO or you don't. Either like the stuff you don't. And part of the problem, I guess, to shift this back out of me and Sam going down that rabbit hole, which we very easily will do, they need to diversify a lot of stuff in these particular franchises. Give people access to play these themes, these IPs in more than one way. And it sucks that Bug, who's a comic guy, couldn't get into DC Online because it wasn't his style of game, and they haven't really given you something else to get excited about for a long time. In terms of
not really. Like the Arkham trilogy was good, even Arkham Origins, but then after that, like there was Injustice, which was,
I liked
like-
Injustice, both 1 and 2. I played the shit out of both of them, hundreds of hours.
yeah, well, Injustice 2 was the last fighting game of that type that I ever played, because after you beat the story mode, it's like, the fuck do you do now? Because there's nothing to do there, and I don't want to just play the same match over and over and over again. So it was like, I don't want to.
That's fair. I have people who play with me.
Yeah, no,
So
that's you have friends. I don't have that
Yes.
when it comes to games. So like,
I was trying to be nice about it, Bug, but yes, that's exactly what I said.
I thought
Yeah.
City of Heroes was better than DC Online, to be honest.
I never got into City of Heroes or Villains. I knew some people who were into it, but I never got into those.
yeah,
Yeah, I never played him.
but yeah, there's nothing there. Suicide Squad was a fucking monstrosity.
That's a
Yeah.
special case.
Yeah, and then the Wonder Woman game gets canned, and I don't know what the fuck they got planned for anything DC wise. Anything I hear nowadays, I'm filled with dread, like that supposed Arkham remake, which just makes me go pain. And the only thing I can sort of have a good hope, or at least want to hope for, is some of the Marvel games, like if they don't get fucking canned.
There was a Superman game on the N64, wasn't there?
We don't like talking about that one.
I never played it. I just know there was one.
Yeah, all you do is fly through rings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a pretty decent kind of X-Men Legends style Justice League game on a PS2 called Justice League Heroes. I enjoyed the shit out of that. The only problem was you couldn't choose specifically which character's permission. They were kind of locked in with the story, but otherwise, yeah, it was a pretty solid little RPG.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
like the pickings on superhero games are like limited.
current day,
yeah, current day, it's like, ugh.
I trust Insomniac about as far as I can throw them now.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
much
it's
it.
like, yeah, they're skeptical. Then there's EA with its 2 remaining Marvel games after they shit canned the Black Panther one, which was a strange one to think about because people only heard about it because of the devs that were like
X-Men Legends, yeah.
the devs that were bragging about how they weren't hiring white people thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then they get canned, and then there were once the game got canned, like some concept art came out, and some like the pitch for the story was like the Skrulls were invading Wakanda, and you were gonna choose which character was gonna be Black Panther type thing,
What?
Which is kind of funny to think about. If I had a nickel for every time they canceled a game where the Skrulls were the bad guys, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's weird it happened twice.
Yeah, it's almost as though they don't know what to do with the scrolls or how to use them.
Yeah, not really. You would think it'd be there,
Yeah.
but yeah, you have EA's 2 games. One of them is Iron Man. I have no idea what the other one is because they haven't revealed it.
If they ever will.
If they ever will. There's the Captain America and Black Panther team up game from Amy Hennig, who did Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
That one is probably going to come. That one's coming out because that one's the furthest along in development, and they only had like a couple months of a delay, I think. And then after that, there was.
Is that Wolverine game ever coming out?
Well, that's Insomniac.
That's Insomniac. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Well, yeah, we don't know what that deal is on that one yet. And then the other one was Blade from the Dishonored guys.
Did that get canceled?
No, I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
If you're a superhero gamer, you're in.
Your pickings are fucking slim, and they get slimmer, especially these days. Although I think it's funny. I think it's funny that Wonder Woman's game gets fucking canned, and then like right after, James Gunn is talking about, oh yes, Wonder Woman is an important part of the DC universe. It's like, well, it doesn't. It really fucking shows, Gunn.
And it's short time after that Warner Brothers Games announces that one of their focuses is DC titles. One of the 4 remaining focuses next to Lord of the Rings.
The same company that after the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, they shit-canned both a Flash game and a John Constantine game that was sort of in the pitched area.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like... I don't know. And last thing I heard was supposedly they were assigning people to like head the DC section of their games or whatever. All I know is they're a fucking mess and a half because all the good people that made the good games, they fucked right off.
They're probably part of indie AA teams right now, someplace doing something.
Yeah, like they all ran off for greener pastures, and Marvel Games, I don't know. They're all either owned by EA, where you don't know what the fuck you're getting out of that, and other companies that don't have enough of a track record.
Look at the last big Marvel games came out, the Avengers game.
Oh god,
came out. That thing. Hey, let's make it all about Ms. Marvel trying to get together the team, and it's like, nobody wants to be Kamala Khan.
I still think about this one part. Because she meets the Avengers because she wins a fan fiction writing contest.
Ew.
And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself that all the Avengers had to probably go through so many stories where they're fucking each other.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine Steve Rogers just sitting there going like, Tony, why are these kids writing me getting butt fucked by you, dude? This is what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, it kind of goes back to the Ultimate X-Men titles when like Pietro and Wanda Maximoff were kind of banging.
That's the one. No. The fan fiction thing is not even in the same sphere as fucking Wanda and Pietro fucking while their possibly potential father was walking in on them. Like, there's
Could you imagine you pick up they're sitting there and you pick up a thing that says, this one's called Hulk Smash. I'm guessing where this one's going, guys.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they may not have known who their father was, but they definitely knew who their sibling was.
Well, I don't think it's just, I think that's like worse than just, Steve Rogers reads like some gay porn or like fan fiction,
Leave it up to Sam to take it to the incest place.
I mean, it's not incest or cannibalism. It's like, what the fuck am I even doing here?
I'm going to reel this one back in. The most successful superhero game right now is Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
And it's still going strong from what I understand. Maybe not as strong as original, but it's still going on and people are still playing it.
It's developed enough of a staying power that I actually saw that there's actually action figures getting made of them.
Really?
Yeah. That's essentially a MOBA though, isn't it?
More of a hero shooter.
Yeah, it's a hero shooter.
Yeah.
It's not a looter shooter, but it's a hero shooter, and it's with a little bit of like MMO stuff where you have your tanks, your DPS, your crowd control. Everybody's got to play a role. Your healers, you all got to play the role if you're going to win. Problem is, there are people who are obsessed with this game and know every little trick to do it, and they are making money because people keep buying the skins. They keep releasing skin after skin after skin for different favorite variants and look like that. So Rivals are still going, but that's still not a solo game. That's not a you're play it by yourself type of game. That's get in there and play with randos most of the time.
Yeah, that's like you need like friends or randos for that one. Like a true proper like single player game. The most recent thing was Spider-Man 2. And and
I wish it wasn't.
Yeah. So, and
it's a shame because aside from a handful of story elements that were fucking retarded, I actually really liked the first one.
The gameplay is 10 out of 10. But the story in Spider-Man 2 is dog shit. That's the problem. They actually improved on the gameplay from Spider-Man 1 in some ways. So I loved playing it, but I also hated playing it in it is the problem. And that's terrible. And now I will not buy another Insomniac game. If they ever come out with Spider-Man 3, I ain't touching it. Not unless somebody I trust tells me it's okay. Do it.
Okay, so supposedly 2026 is when the next Marvel game comes out, which is the Captain America one, which that could be fun. You know, I have hopes for that because Amy Hennig. So at least it would be a story.
She has enough of a pedigree to say, okay, she knows how to make good games, and she's not. But it's still EA, right? Is it still EA?
No, that's
No?
Amy
Okay.
Hennig's studio.
Okay, so she's not beholden to large corpo while she's making this.
With the exception of Marvel itself.
Yeah, which is Disney, but you know, is Disney really paying attention? Disney doesn't really pay attention to the games. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the disasters they've had recently.
I mean, that is a fair point. Like, but yeah, that's the earliest one because it says here early 2026, which, you know, might as well be the middle of 2026. Let's be real.
Maybe even 2027. You never know.
Don't say that. I don't think to me, man. I already, like, I had a whole list of all the games, and then when Wonder Woman got canned, I was like marking it off, and I saw people go, "Oh yeah, they're gonna cancel all these other ones," and I'm like, "Don't even fucking joke about that, dude." It's like I need something. I need my fix.
You're not getting it though. That's the problem. You're not right. Not anytime soon.
Not now, man. But I need a fix.
No, Kingdom Hearts has never gone into Marvel games. They've never done that.
No. I don't know how you feel about roguelikes, Bug. I just picked up, just dropped like last week or whatever, TMNT Splintered Fate, and it's multiplayer, and it's kind of fun, kind of a lot of fun.
Is that the top-down one?
Yeah.
I think I looked at it, and I don't know. It just didn't really. I don't know. It didn't really.
I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I've been playing it
I mean,
solo.
that's
but
cool.
like, there's an option for local co-op as well as online co-op.
Well, that's cool for them. That just does not tickle my.
No, fair enough.
So, like the last TMNT game I played was. Hold on, did I have the title right? It was Mutants in Manhattan, because that was like, because they were using the Mirage comic like designs for all the characters, because like you know, like you had proper Shredder and Krang and all this stuff at each level, which was cool. I loved that. That was fun, you know, but then again, it's a Platinum game. How can you not have fun with Platinum games?
Well, we will continue to struggle on with all our gaming woes, whether we wait for the next great MMO, a superhero game, or anything else. There's always something out there that is.
No, Ariel, I don't want to play Shredder's Revenge. I don't want to play a fucking retro arcade side scroller, okay?
Shredder's Revenge is fun. I don't know what to tell you, man. I like.
I don't play fucking side scroller fucking beat 'em ups, dude. If I want to play that, I'll go to a fucking arcade if one's open.
Says the guy who looks like a character from a side scroller beat 'em up.
I don't give a shit.
All right. So I do have something I want to go over. I held this over from last week. It's time to do a list article. We haven't done one of those for a while.
It's because I wasn't here last week, huh?
Yeah. You think I'm gonna do it without you here?
I hope you die.
These 8 sci-fi shows were so good, I can't believe they didn't last longer. Good old screen rant. 1899 canceled after 1 season. I don't know what this is.
Nobody does. What the fuck is it?
It was like they were trapped in the fucking, I think, like the triangle. What do they call that shit?
Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle or something. It was like weird. All the commercials for it showed like a ship with people on it, but it was like from like old times, and then they went. No one could figure out what it was about. That's why no one watched it, because they're all like, I don't know if I'll like it because they're not telling me shit about it. It's all kind of this supposition and shit. So like I didn't even get into it. Yeah, it was really weird. Like I watched like 4 commercials and I was all like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be excited. And so I just didn't
I
end
never
up
heard of
watching
this.
it.
This is
Yeah, it was
2022.
weird.
I never heard of this. So I guess it looks like it was dropped on Netflix. Looks like it's German.
I mean, foreign television has been a little bit better than domestic shit for a while. So I don't know. I might have given a shot if I knew it existed, but I didn't because the marketing wasn't there.
One season and ended on a massive cliffhanger. So nuts to that. So I can kind of.
Well, we know that now, but we wouldn't have when it was airing.
Yeah, but Devil just described what it was like when it came out. Horrible marketing. So I can see why it failed.
Like I said, the commercials did not give you any idea what you were supposed to be watching, and so how are you supposed to get hyped if you don't know what the hell it is? It's weird.
All right, so that we got that one. Raised by Wolves. Now I do know of this one.
I've heard it's good, but I haven't watched it.
And from what I saw, I wasn't really interested in it. Now, this was HBO Max. It had what's his name? Travis Fimmel was star. I like Travis Fimmel and stuff. I enjoy him in things.
He's pretty good.
In fact, he was the only thing that was decent in that terrible Dune show from earlier this year. But I had no interest in this thing. Raised by Wolves, arguably one of the strangest shows gracing the sci-fi television landscape recent years, created by Aaron Guzikowski and produced by Ridley Scott, who doesn't know his ass from his hand anymore. The series never tried to confine itself to familiar tropes and narrative conventions associated with sci-fi. Looking back, I see how the show's defiance towards traditional storytelling made it appealing, but it also polarizing many. So because of it, it doesn't even tell us what it was about here.
I remember what it was about, but once again, it just didn't interest me either.
I only remember it getting like marketed, and then I just never paid attention to it.
Yeah, it was.
I knew of it, but it's like, yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So we have a pattern growing here: poor marketing, odd storytelling, and not really finding an audience. So it's kind of reason these things get canceled. Constellation.
Never heard of it.
Last year.
No, I don't know that one. Holy shit.
So I haven't even heard of these things. I haven't previewed this list. I hadn't looked at this list, so I haven't even heard of this. It's Apple TV. It's Apple TV. Okay.
That's why no one's heard of it.
Apple TV. Apple TV could do some good stuff from what I hear. I've only watched maybe a couple shows.
And you have to hear about it first.
Yeah. Right. And that's the problem. Apple TV, they just keep making shit. They don't care.
Well, because they're like Amazon. They have a whole ass company that like can just fund whatever the fuck they want. So they just do whatever the fuck they want. And they don't care if it doesn't make money or not. Because
perfect example. Everybody likes F1 right now. Everybody's enjoying it. Apple, and I didn't realize it was an Apple product. I just heard it this morning after Daily Dive. I was reading through some stuff. Apple made F1. They sank easily over $400 million with it. They're not going to get a return. They're looking at making a sequel. People are enjoying it. So people who like it, you're going to get more. But they are not. It's not about money for Apple. Not about money at all.
I don't want to watch no movie on Euro racing. I'm cool. Give me a NASCAR movie, goddammit.
I'm not interested in racing, period. Not my thing. You like it, that's great.
The cars have to have guns in them for me to give a fuck.
I mean,
I still watch Days of Thunders. I'm just saying.
I'll give F1 racing, Formula One racing this. At least not all of their tracks are just the fucking oval.
You watch your mouth.
I'm just saying. Oh, look, another left turn.
And that's not even true. There are road tracks, but yes, there is a lot of left turning.
Point when we're looking at this, you see a praised by Stephen King. That's all I need to know. No thanks. Yeah. So never even heard of this one. Looks like it was a poor attempt at sci-fi. Almost Human.
I actually liked that one. I actually liked it. I thought there was a lot of potential, but I do see where it was failing. But
2013. I feel like I remember this, but I never gave it a shot.
It came out like I think it was around the same time as like iRobot, and it kind of had a similar idea. I think he had a problem with androids, but like all cops were teamed up with androids, so he gets a new partner. And like I said, it was a decent show. Had a lot of stuff that it could have done, but it just wasn't doing it.
We like Carl Urban. Always like Carl Urban.
He was great in it. Both of them played their roles well.
But here it is. Here's the thing. You can see right in the poster. It was released on Fox Network, and Fox has a history. And back then, Fox was still Fox. It wasn't owned by anybody else at the time.
Right.
It was of course, it was owned by what's his name? No, the owner. It's an old Simpson joke. It's an old Simpson joke. The Australian. What the fuck is his name? Rupert Murdoch. Murdoch.
Yeah.
It was still owned by Rupert Murdoch at the time. So, or his family. So they always gave their shows a very short leash, and we know what the number one's going to be.
This goes back like a while, like even well before like the one you're referencing there. You know, they had some excellent television in the early '90s on Fox. And a lot of that shit got canceled even before they finished the first season. Like there was a show called Roar with a very young Heath Ledger about the Celts and the Roman occupation of the British Isles, and it's excellent. Yeah, but it gets cut off like too soon because they got canceled.
Yep, they syndicated that shit on TNT for a long time, just on repeat. Roar was really good. Young Heath Ledger, that was a fun one. That should have gotten more. Yeah,
there are a lot of really good sci-fi shows that were cut off. None of them they're going to put on these lists.
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
I am not okay with this.
I don't know what you're not okay with.
It's a drama. It's a comedy from Netflix. First of all, in 2020 to 2019, the sitcom is already dead. Comedy's already dead at this point. And if it's 2020, 2019, you know goddamn well it's probably just loaded with agenda. Loaded with it. Especially if it's on Netflix.
Well, you can tell by that chick's haircut.
Yeah. So we don't even need to know what's going on here. There's a reason it was canceled. Moving on. Counterpart. Okay. All right. I gave this the old college try with season 1. Some people swear by it. I found it boring as sin. I did not like it at all. I mean, what's his name? Who plays J.K. Simmons? Who plays both characters? J.K. Simmons is great, but I found the whole idea of a world that split into 2 parallel worlds at a single moment in time due to discovering a tear in reality, and they both went along completely opposite directions of historical events, one becoming super fascistic, the other one the world we sort of know, but they trade information back and forth. It's a spy type thing. I tried, and
that's kind of an interesting premise.
It was, but there's just something. Some people swore about it. Like I know that Gary, he swears by it. He thought it was one of the greatest things he ever saw. I got about halfway through season 1, and I just said, I remember 2017. This is when I was laid up in 2017. I was laid up. I was watching anything possible. And
what year was this? This was
2017.
Yeah, 2017. So that would have been around the same time that The Man in the High Castle was still airing too, which had kind of a similar parallel world thing going on.
But this is like the 2 worlds communicating is the thing. So I tried, and I needed anything and everything to watch because I couldn't really go anywhere. And I just could not get into it. Not that I'm not smart enough, and not that it wasn't smart enough for the show because it was a smart show. It just didn't click with me at all. But it clicked with a lot of people, and it got a second season, but then it got canceled. So,
I might check it out. I'd heard of it, but not the name.
You would probably like it. I think it's kind of like up your alley. It's very dark in some aspects. So I think you would probably like it. I didn't enjoy it. I gave up on it halfway through season 1 because I didn't like one of the J.K. Simmons characters, and I'm supposed to be rooting for him, and I'm not liking him, so I didn't get a connection.
I got a J.K. Simmons movie for you. I'll tell you about later.
I bet I can guess which one it might be. All right. Well, I thought this would be number 1.
Seriously?
Yeah, me too.
Number 2?
I thought Firefly would be number 1. We've talked Firefly ad nauseum.
There are Valentine's cards that say, I want you more than season 2 with a picture of that cast on them.
And this is the classic thing of a completely fucked up release and mishandled by everybody in charge. They released it out of order. The episodes were all out of order. They didn't give Whedon the time he needed, because Whedon, sometimes he's a slow burn. You got to build shit up. You got to let him cook a little bit to put out the whole meal. But in this case, they rushed it out. Fox they wanted, I don't know, honestly, I don't know what they wanted from the show.
Fox didn't want the show.
They didn't want the show? I didn't know.
No, they didn't want the show at all. I mean, they wanted something completely different than what Joss was presenting them with. That's why they aired it out of order, because they're like, no, we want an action sci-fi Western thing. We don't want all this fucking character development shit. That's why they aired it out of order.
I didn't know that.
A completely different thing that he was presenting them.
Mm-hmm. So they purposely tanked it then. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they tanked, because if it had been shown in order, it probably would have gotten better ratings, and they would not have been able to cancel it then.
Yeah.
Because to this day, this is one of the most beloved. Why didn't we get more shows? Now, of course, they got the movie. They did the best. We did the best to tie up what he had started very quickly in what would have been multiple seasons of storytelling in one movie.
Two of their episodes never aired.
Yeah, you only get them on the Blu-ray DVD.
Mm-hmm.
You can only get them there, and so it's a great what if. But talk about a loyal fan base. The Brown Cloak online community. Man, were they hardcore for years.
Still are in some places.
But listen, Firefly's dead. It's gone. It's never coming back.
That's yeah. I mean, I don't think that it's possible to do this shit without the entire cast. And frankly, that's impossible now because Ron Glass is gone. But
and he dies. I mean, Shepard died anyway. So I mean.
Right, but they did, like in the movie. But there is a lot of chatter, whether or not there's anything behind the chatter. But there is a lot of chatter about reviving the universe of Firefly with like second or third generation.
Ooh,
they've been talking about this shit for years. I don't think anything's actually been greenlit, but it is there. There is a lot of chatter at studios.
All right, well, here's the question. It's the same question I ask right now, or it's just not the question, but it's the same problem you have. If they're going to reboot Buffy, is Joss Whedon involved?
No, not at all.
No.
Then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Then you're fucked.
Most of the original cast won't be in it except for like cameos to kind of get shit moving along, because you're talking about something that now the difference being between Buffy and Firefly is that Firefly operated in a much larger universe with the potential to have other stories to tell. Mm-hmm. Right, Buffy kind of revolves around a singular character and her peripheral satellite friends.
Mm-hmm. But without Joss Whedon, love him or hate him, it's these are his stories, his world, and you need his creativity, his ideas to get them going. That's why the Buff reboot's that thing's gonna collapse in a fiery mess, and I will be happy to cover that. At the same time, Firefly, you can't get that uniqueness without him. And Serenity gave me a good place to leave off. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Don't need.
I think we've gotten plenty of Joss Whedon stuff over the years that was really, really good. I'm absolutely fine with never getting another project by the man.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of great content from him already.
We've moved beyond Joss Whedon at this point, and people and the problem is we've moved beyond it, and we've finally gotten away from people trying to mimic him, which is good.
Yeah, which is going to be a problem if they start rebooting his old shows.
And it's the same way people are going to now try and mimic James Gunn, which is just let's not do any of this. All right, I thought this was going to be number 1. I have no idea what number 1 is. What?
The OA.
What the hell is the
OA?
OA?
I've never heard of that.
This was on Netflix, I think, but I've heard of it, but I never actually watched it.
Never even heard of this. I have no comment.
Is this this isn't the one where No, I'm thinking of a different show where they.
I mean,
had to do with organ donors in an island and shit.
Granted, I was not in a. I was 2016. There, I have a couple of blank spots because of my recovery period from 2016 into 2017. I have a couple of spots. I was kind of not plugged in, but I never even heard of this. Long before it's just long before Netflix became a little too infamous for suddenly ending some of its best shows. This landed on the streamer from wherever. Listen, sure, I can't comment on this. I have no idea what this is. So.
Yeah. How does it make you feel to know that the very last show that Netflix actually allowed to do its full run was Orange is the New Black?
That hurts. Now, Kel brings up a good one. Dark Matter. That should have gotten a season 3, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have. It really should have.
It's sudden. I mean, I had enjoyed it since the beginning. It was really a slow burn show. I had enjoyed it since the beginning, and then suddenly you tear in space. Here come real aliens. Oh wow, okay, and then sorry, canceled.
Yeah, it's a shame too, because I mean, it's only nominally a sci-fi movie or a sci-fi show, right? It's got the trappings of it, spaceships, space, that kind of thing, but it's really a character in a crime drama.
Mm-hmm. Who are we for most of it, as they're all trying to get their memories back, whether they want them or not. And
it was a cool idea. Yeah,
I liked it, and hell, you even got rid of one of the characters, the guy who had changed his faith so he could find the murderer of his family and this and that. They aced him pretty quick. And
that came to us from Joe Malozzi, I think, who
you're right.
was a major writer on most of Stargate.
Yep. So I mean, this Dark Matter was good. I would have loved more of that. That was a fun one.
It's so interesting because they pulled some really obscure shit here, and I kind of get the list a little bit, because like, if this is so obscure, if this is really good but it didn't get season 2, I was like, well, I mean, obviously there are reasons it didn't get seasons 2 or 3 or whatever, because nobody's ever heard of these fucking things. I'm gonna check a couple of these out because they kind of seem interesting. But like the one that came to mind when it was what was number 5 again, about the machine stuff with Carl Urban?
Almost Human.
Yeah, Almost Human. That makes me think of this. So there's a Russian show called Better Than Us. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix. It never got a 3rd season. It's probably not going to get a 3rd season because of all the geopolitical shit going around with that. And I know Screen Rant would never bring up a Russian show, but it is fucking excellent.
There's, in my mind, there's only 2 shows on this list that deserve to be in this kind of list. The other ones haven't heard of, don't care for. Some of them sound lame.
Yeah, but I might check this Almost Human out. I might check out the one with Simmons on it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think you'll probably enjoy Counterpart. That seems that knowing you, that might be something right up your alley. With it's basically a spycraft show, is what it is.
Yeah, it kind of made me think a little bit like somewhere between Man in the High Castle and Open Range, which is a weird fucking show. But it also involves traveling back and forth between two not.
And there's only like one way. There's like and in that thing, there's one tunnel. It's not like you can zip him back. There's one way back and forth.
Yeah, it's did you see it? Because it's a very fucking strange show.
No, this show I saw.
Okay.
No, in this show, Counterpart, there's like one way back and forth between the 2 parallel worlds. It's like a single hallway, and they can meet in the center. That's it. So it's not like
Ariel. The end of that show sucks ass.
I've heard that,
but leading up to it is still like first 3 seasons are fucking incredible. The 4th season kind of wanes a bit, and the end of it is fucking terrible. It's like they didn't know what to do with it. It's all based on a novel too. It's in the fucking book.
I was going to say it was based on something. How could you lose it if you have all the source material? Unless you abandon the source material.
But the first 3 seasons are fucking incredible television.
Yeah. Well, there you go. These were for sci-fi things. Some of the chat was mentioning other shows should have been on there, but there might be lists about that. But yeah, that's the fear these days of finding things you like in this day and age. Something might get canceled right out under your feet, and it sucks.
You could have that. You could also have a show that you like, and then you try to catch up with it, and then on the third season you rage quit because they decided to do something stupid. Yeah,
I unfortunately watched all of The Expanse. I know your pain.
I had it with there's a show on Netflix called Blood of Zeus. Like, it's this animated thing.
I've
really
seen that.
Yeah, really good. You know, I saw the first season and then when it came out, and it'd been a long time since I decided, all right, you know what, I'm gonna catch up with it. Binged all of season 2, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, this is cool. Like, you know, they spend a lot of time focusing on Hades and Persephone and setting up this story, and it's like, oh, I really like this fucking story. This is cool. Third season starts, the final season. The second episode, Persephone dies, and I'm just like, what the fuck? You wasted all my fucking time. Like, you gave me this great story that you dedicated all of this fucking second season to, where the protagonist of it is not even in there, and then you decide, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna just stomp it, like, before we even get started on this last season. It's like, what the fuck was the point of all that? Like, thank you for wasting my time. And I just said, nope, I ain't watching no more.
Yeah, I don't trust anything out of Western entertainment releasing anywhere. I just don't. I'm happy every 3 or 4 months watching a fresh batch of anime for my injection of new stuff. I don't trust anything coming out of Western entertainment right now. I just don't, because it's inevitably either going to get canceled or it's going to betray me. Betray my trust, like Bug just described. It'll eventually betray me in some way, shape, or form. I feel like it will. So,
I think now, speaking of betraying your trust, is a good time to bring up that movie. So there's a J.K. Simmons movie came out on Shudder a couple of years ago, starring Ryan Quanten, and essentially, dude gets stuck in a rest stop men's room with an eldritch entity on the other side of the glory hole, voiced by J.K. Simmons. It's called Glorious. It's fucking it's awesome. The ending is kind of predictable, but the lead up is really fucking good.
I don't even want to venture at this
and
moment.
We never knew there was a documentary on Sam's life.
There's a bit where dude sticks his dick through the glory hole, and J.K. Simmons' character, who is this galactic eldritch entity, is on the other side of the thing. He's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Sounds like the skit from Scary Movie 1.
It kind of, except with a bit of a Lovecraft spin.
Oh my goodness, we're crossing into territory that I already had my brain melted once today. When
I had to go on a whole tear on Twitter the other day because there's people dissing the Velocipaster. You know, it's absolute cinema. Come on,
don't diss Sam's enjoyable trash movies.
Yeah, I put out a tweet and I totally forgot to put the picture in there. So Sam was the only one who liked them. I'm like, why? Like, geez, I thought it was funny when. And I looked, I was like, oh crap, no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and I had to go back and resend it with the actual.
I got it because I had actually seen the tweet that you were referencing earlier because I got tagged by Shadow of Hawk in it earlier that day.
I've seen that too going around. Oh my, oh my. All right. Ariel has a question. I don't know if I can honestly answer this. Is there anything you guys would think would make a great season that was a movie? I mean, you'd have to go to something that was rushed and didn't get enough time to tell the whole story. Yeah. That to me is the
Jumper.
I remember that was a Hayden Christensen and Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jumper didn't have enough time to really fucking develop. It felt unfinished.
I only saw that one time.
It depends, because do I trust anyone to do a good show version of a movie?
Let's say it's gonna be made correctly. Let's make that the rule.
Then I would
let's say your showrunner is somebody like Joe Malozzi.
All right, then I would say Aragon. Do you remember that, the dragon one? The movie was absolute shit. The books were really good. It was a really deep story. really deserved a good adaptation, and the movie was freaking trash.
Well, they are making those into that is going to be a series right now. That's coming out, Devil.
How bad are they going to fuck it up? Like I said, I don't
Listen,
trust
I was
anyone
never
to
into
make it good.
Poloni, so I'm not the person to have this conversation with. But no, the Inheritance saga is getting redone into TV. You're going to get that, Devil. So you can review it. Watch it and review it, Devil.
I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's a weird thing because I've seen a number of shows that were based off movies, like Lethal Weapon. They made a show off of that.
It started so well, and then it fell
It did.
apart.
Well, yeah,
that's
the sad reality of the guy who played Riggs.
Riggs
turned out to
was
be an
a dick.
asshole.
Him and Damon Wayans did not get along is the thing. They didn't get along.
Yeah, well, he was is supposedly no one got along with him. He was just an asshole. The actor was just a dick and didn't care about anybody else. He was very self-centered and shit and fucked it up for himself, which just really sucks because I agree with you, Adam. It had so much potential. It was decent. It wasn't like I had to separate it from the movies because it in no way kind of felt like the movies.
See, what I thought is they were going to go through. That was when I was still had my issues with Mel Gibson. I'm like, oh, I could finally watch Lethal Weapon again. The show is so much fun, and they're going to go through essentially all the movie storylines in new ways, and I'm excited for this. And then the dude was such an asshole that they killed off Riggs, and without Riggs, you don't have Lethal Weapon.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you didn't because they tried to replace it with Stifler, and then the show died.
Oh, I checked out. I was done when that happened. Kel brings up a good one. Space Above Beyond. That was a good show. I like that one.
I can't remember that one.
What I'm thinking of there, you guys could probably go with me on this one. And this is something people have wanted for years. Even though we love them, I want a hardcore Conan show.
Oh man, I don't. I'm torn on that. I'm very torn on that. As a fan of the books, I'm very torn on that.
I've read some of the books,
not a
so I mean,
fucking hard.
We're saying done right. So yes,
yeah. I mean, I'm talking ravaging women, the whole bit.
Yeah, it would have to be on like HBO. It would have to be on one of those channels that are willing to show stuff, Yeah. And it would have to. They'd have to really be willing to take chances and go hard in the paint.
I mean, imagine showing like a big fucking white dude with a sword hacking down ape men, right? That's not going to go over well today.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you just give them a Confederate flag, it might be fine.
Maybe I don't know, but I would love to see it done right. I just don't think that it's possible for it to be done right. Not today.
But
I think
the
these
thing
days,
is, if it's done right, I'd want to see it. I'd be all over that.
I think the issue is like a lot of these stuff, like say John Carter or I don't know, Conan.
I'd love to see John Carter
too.
Yeah, like stuff like that. With like fantasy and monsters and space stuff. I think when it comes to it, you're better off just settling for like an animated project kind of thing, like an animated series or an animated movie.
Something like Fire and Ice by Bakshi.
Yeah, something like that, or to bring up something that's a little more recent, like Primal by Gennady Tarkovsky.
I've heard that's good. I haven't seen it.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty good. Like, you need like something of that degree, because trying to bother with live action, there's just no reason for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
I've been a proponent of animation for years on things, but so I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I think if it was hand drawn, or rotoscoped or something, some like older out of date kind of technology, I think it would probably look.
Yeah,
best
it would be better if it's like
CG now.
Well, I would say it'd be better if it's classic, like 2D drawing or whatever the appropriate thing is. I don't want no wannabe DreamWorks or Pixar bullshit.
Right.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
Right. So I don't know. There was another movie that popped into my head too. Came out a while back with Chris Evans called Push, and I think.
Oh yeah.
Like that again. That was supposed to be. It felt like this supposed to be the beginning of something that never went anywhere, but it was kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys know it. I mean,
no, I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was like playing around with the idea of all the different like ESP
psychic abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, like telling the future, telekinesis, stuff like that. And it like ends kind of like off on this big like
kind of a cliffhanger.
Kind of a cliffhanger, bit of a sequel bait thing. It's like, oh yeah, here's the story, and there's still more story to go on.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm thinking, but that Conan was the first thing that jumped in my head. But other stuff, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that, given if done correctly, the TV treatment is way better than trying to cram a story into a 2-hour movie.
Honestly, I know Kel's making a joke there about make a series about the adventures of H.P. Lovecraft's cat, which honestly I would watch that because that'd be fucking hilarious. But like something like the novel At the Mountains of Madness, which they've been trying to make into a serious film for years. Guillermo del Toro's been chomping at the fucking bits for years and years trying to get this fucking made into a movie. I think it would work better as a miniseries.
Lots of things should get the miniseries treatment. Lots of things should. Stop trying to make big budget movies. Make miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get more. Honestly, you'll get more mileage out of it, and because you could do more, you can get stuff done. That's why the Dune miniseries worked well, because you could get more, get into the actual books, as opposed to what they're doing now.
Yeah,
and it's going to be more butchery with
the
Messiah children thing they're coming up with.
Right. Kel, have you checked out Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix? Because that is a Del Toro project, and there are several Lovecraft stories adapted in the episodes. It's an anthology. Like Pickman's Model, I think, is one of them.
Well, probably a lot of things out there, but we are over 2 hours. It is almost 1 a.m., and I want to get some sleep tonight. So we're gonna wrap it up. I need more sleep. I've been kind of on a not enough sleep schedule for the past week, and it caught up to me today finally, where I just kind of dragged my way through the day despite having gotten enough sleep last night. I got a debt I got to make up. So let's go around the horn, pitch our wares, and I will send everybody on their way. Bug.
Hello. Yeah. Just the normal, usual shit. Twitter. All the shenanigans there. YouTube, did a couple of videos, a regular video and a gaming video, because PC, all that fun stuff. You can find me, on Twitter, YouTube, here on Mellow Mondays on occasion, Ballbusters, sometimes pregame and sometimes the pub if they leave the doggy door open for me to walk in through. But nothing immediate at the moment for video wise. Not till at least tomorrow, because that's when Ironheart's final 3 episodes drop.
You're ready for Mephisto?
Yeah, I'm ready for Mephisto to go, very nice. Yeah.
Hey, Borat, thanks for showing up.
Somebody's gonna get fistoed.
Oh,
right?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they already got Mephisto because this thing's been sitting on the shelf for 3 years.
Yeah, it's three-year-old shit. But that's gonna be in the works. Then of course, obviously, I have the book that I'm working on. The art behind me with Adam's favorite character from it. I want it to be appealing and accommodating to people that host me, so I gave Adam what he wanted.
As opposed to scaly muscle mommy.
I dig her in her civvies. That's attractive to me. All right.
So I am a good salesman.
Adam is that creepy dude who's in the library touching himself to the librarians.
he's in the study desk to the back
Not
where
the
it's
librarians
sort of
I
out of
grew up
the
with.
line of sight.
Not the librarians I grew up with.
Oh wait, what do you mean, Ariel? Is she wearing a bra? I don't know. What sounds better to you?
I mean, there's
Ariel,
no
I'm
way
just
those things
saying.
are that high up without a bra. I'm just saying.
Hey man,
It's way too
I mean,
much
if
weight
that's what you
packed
want.
on the front there.
dude,
I mean,
this
hey,
is the world of comics and animation. They defy gravity.
They're super boobies.
She's probably got Spanx on too.
This is why one of the reasons anime is so glorious and anime is glorious. Big titties defy gravity, and it's glorious, and I love it. All right, Devil.
Yeah, check out Make Me a Sandwich on Wednesday. And then back to the pub on Friday going to Saturday.
Okay, Sam.
Next official thing I got is it's quiz night on Abyssal Musings on Friday. And then I'll be on the pub after that, Screaming to the Void after that, and then back here to the Mellow Mondays. There will probably be a gaming stream soon too. I'm trying to figure some shit out about that.
Actually,
I'll probably be doing it soon.
We're not doing a show next week.
Oh, we're not. Well, that's fine.
I told the guys this last week. You're going to find out about it now. Yeah, so we won't be back next week due to a scheduling conflict that I've had to make allowances for. Essentially, we have to record something, and the availability is only on Monday night, so it's going to run into this. So I figure instead of having the stress of it, I'm just going to push the show off. So we won't be back next week. We won't be back next week. Things outside my control. But rest of the week, tomorrow is gaming night. We'll be picking up with more Lunar tomorrow night. Wednesday, I have Space Marine 2 with Alf and a guest TBD. Whoever he picks up for our third person on that one. Rest of the week, Daily Dive every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, where you guys choose pleasure or pain, usually pain. And we laugh at my pain and suffering on the show. Then Ballbusters on Friday, Co-op Gaming Saturday night, Roundtable this weekend, where we will be talking dinosaurs. It's the beginning of the July box office rumble. Our guest this weekend will be Dermy because he's actually going to watch it and review it. So we're going to give him some time to talk about it. Jed's actually going to watch it too. I'm the only one who's not going to watch dinosaurs. I'm saving all my energy for Superman and Baby Steps coming up in the following week. So we're starting July. Tomorrow begins Murica Month. It's Murica Month starting tomorrow. All right. We have actually it's officially Murica Month. Yeah. Goodbye Pride Month. Hello Murica Month. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's July 4th on Friday too. I plan to do some fun stuff on the show on Friday. So everybody, let's have a good time. Thank you all for being here tonight. Hit that like button. Everybody's links will be in the subscription below by the time we get done with this. And I'll see everybody next time. So until then, everybody, take it easy, guys.
Bye.
There we go. Come on, there.